You are being manipulated right freaking now as we speak. And I know it's the SEC doing it. I know for the most part it looks as if it's only happening on the major fronts, where they, for example, want to put XRP and Ripple on a little bit of the background so they can just continue on building their technologies while Ripple has to halt theirs. For example, the whole Fed now debacle. There are many theories that state that Ripple had to basically be stopped and put on a little halt platform, or in a lawsuit basically, because otherwise they'd be too far in the whole process. And the same thing applies to Swift GPI and many other processors out there. It will be very beneficial to them if Ripple, with their about 10-year advantage or so, was halted for a little bit, so these others had some time to catch up. But it's actually a little bit deeper than that. I mean, in all seriousness, guys, I like to call it out the way I see it. And I'm not shy of exposing BS in the community whenever it approaches. In a similar sense, I will honestly admit there have been multiple occasions in the past where I shared a story that did not turn out to be exactly the way I thought it was, or was incomplete, or could have also been that it was just fabrication. But just know that my true intentions are to inform you guys about the latest news, and I always do my best to vet the bad from wrong. And the reason sometimes I'm not the quickest to post something is because I always want to double, triple check that something is indeed true. But ever since this Ripple lawsuit came out, or at least the conclusion of it, one thing has definitely changed. Now, before I show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, make sure you press that like button. And in this video, I also want to share with you guys some developments and some cool things that are happening in the crypto space that you need to be made aware of. So once more, get those likes up there and let's dive right in. So first of all, guys, I want you to really carefully watch out for some community members, but also just some very dark intentions. I think we all know that there are many people out there that only care about clicks, that don't care about sending out a wrong story, but more importantly, don't care about you. And Crypto Airy here pointed out a very good example of this. Don't be fooled. This is not true. Fake news. Don't click block my crypto alert. If you see a share anywhere on SNS, please speak out. And it's about Swift to use XRP through partner R3. Now, over on YouTube, I've already seen some people make videos about this just now, but especially over on Twitter. I think a lot of the people sharing this, I'm going to call it out the way I see it, know it's fake or just are blatantly ignorant to spread this out, because these people have such a huge influence. You can see this has got 90,000 views, that I think they should be doing better, especially if they're just sharing the exact news website that we all know now is fake. Even Crypto Geek, I believe another YouTuber, I personally don't think you can steep as low, how do you say that? When you're covering XRP content, to not be able to point out such an obvious fake article, such an obvious fake place. So please, Crypto Geek, if you're watching this, state your case in the comments down below. But I personally think you're being very selfish with this, just doing it for the clicks, doing it for attention. But I honestly get really fired up because of how much this hurts the community. It's BS. People, they get power and ammunition to clap the XRP holders and to keep shitting on top of our heads because people keep sharing all this fake news. I know it's in every media, guys. It's everywhere. I mean, there are many people I've pointed out in the past that just mostly promote things that are either false or written in such a way that only hurt the crypto space for their own personal interest. But I'm not even talking about that just now. I'm specifically referring to this with this one crypto news website that we've posted up many, many times that turned out to be fake. And man, the amount of people I see sharing crazy headlines of, oh, this is going to propel XRP to $35, $50, or this Swift thing is huge. It's all so stupid. And I think it takes a lot away from the actual announcements that are going on in the background. For example, here, Ripple's doing a lot of cool stuff, guys. Honestly, they're on a good path, especially since their lawsuit settlement came in, or their conclusion, I'd call it. Take a look at this, for example, right here. If you go to Ripple's Twitter to find official news, two cool things you'll find is, first of all, Ducati working with Ripple. That's pretty huge news. I'm pretty excited about that. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority working with Ripple, and they officially are retweeting that. For tokenized asset settlement, Ripple and Fubon Bank's pilot features Hong Kong dollars potential to unlock value of illiquid assets with real estate asset tokenization. That's pretty huge stuff. Before we move on, guys, make sure you check out BitGet, which is a crypto exchange you can trade on, and there's a lot of cool prizes you can win by just doing all these different things. You get different tickets to spin this prize wheel. It's just something fun. And that's a lot of money you can win, a couple $1,000s or a MacBook, etc. Or check out Bybit. A link is down below. It's the exchange I use all the time. And get yourself an $1,125 free trade to trade XRP with, but you need to KYC. So if you're in a country like the US, you're not allowed on Bybit, but a lot of other places are. So just check it out with the link down below and claim your 1125 USDT position to trade XRP with. Let's move on. But at the end of the day, that made everything surrounding FedNow also a lot more difficult to understand. Which parts are true, which parts are fake. One thing I described to you guys yesterday, and this is so crucial, is you have to understand the dynamics of buy the rumors, sell the news. Many people said, okay, the reason that XRP went down after the whole FedNow debacle is because people buy the rumors, sell the news. And very often that indeed is the case. But let me tell you guys one very important thing about this buy the rumors, sell the news philosophy, or this theory that many people have. It's only true in certain cases. There has to be a significant amount of information asymmetry, and whatever comes out of this shouldn't have a significant risk attached of actually being able to be a success. But a third problem that many people forget often is of any new thing starting with consequences that were impossible to predict up front. What I mean with that is, let's say we've got a decision. Okay, Ripple is going to be, or XRP we can even say, is used by this and that system. If there's an announcement of something going live a certain day, yeah, people buy on the announcement, and the moment it goes live, yeah, they sell it because there's nobody new to buy it, as everybody had the exact same information. But usually, since everybody has the same information, which is never true, by the way, there's always people with inside info, the upside is also usually quite limited because, well, everybody has this same thought, yet some people know more than you, and so they can take better advantage of the situation to very often still make you lose money because they know you're going to buy the rumors, sell the news. Anyway, the other point was, if it was an announcement of, hey, XRP might do this that day, like for example with the lawsuit, you don't know if they're going to win or lose, so you're not going to buy the rumor, sell the news because you might not be able to sell the news. And the last part was, let's say you buy the rumor, but the news really should just sell because if you think about it, let's just say a new theme park gets open, right? And you're thinking about, is that theme park going to make me some juicy money? Well, in theory, right, you can just buy the announcement that the news park's going to get open, or the theme park. And then the moment the theme park opens, you close everything down. But it's really from that point on forward that it's going to get traction, because that point on forward is going to start making money, start to open. You couldn't have known just how massive that new opening, that new gateway is going to get. And so you might have thought, okay, I'm just buying the fact that it's opening and I'm selling the moment it does because then nobody's going to buy it anymore, basically. But what if only from that point on forward, people are going to really start buying because, well, now it's really in place and people are really seeing it with their own eyes. Before, a lot of people didn't like to take the risk, but now they are because they're noticing it's really there, it really works, and it's going to get only bigger. Like with the lawsuit and my philosophy on that people are only going to start buying from now on forward. More importantly than, the moment that it's settled, because there was too much confusion, too much manipulation. And I still believe as of this point, guys, there's too much manipulation. They keep the price down either for reasons I just mentioned with all these announcements, the FedNow and stuff, all these spot ETF, FedNow things are all in a pretty coincidental spot. But it could be just a coincidence, honestly. Yet, you got to take it from me here that there's so many partnerships that Ripple's got that are just not hitting the light yet, either partially because they don't want it to yet, or because people just don't understand how huge some of these things are. For example, Volante, a Ripple partner, right? Well, we didn't really know just how huge this was before we noticed all the links that they've got with the Federal Reserve and so forth and so on. So many things that Ripple's partnered up with just haven't found their place yet, but they're coming. A similar thing is going to most likely be seen the moment that a lot of these other cryptos get sued, which I think is pretty inevitable. And at that point, we're going to see just how much XRP is ahead of the curve. Now, I believe once more, they're going to be manipulating the articles to make it not seem that bad, or still make XRP come out on the bottom there, because that's the way that things have been. Ripple has clearly won the lawsuit. Elon Musk is on that same park, like I covered in a video yesterday. A lot of these guys are all just claiming the facts. They're telling you exactly the way it is. Yet there's still people out there, and I really wonder what their incentive is. They're saying it's not true, that Ripple actually lost. And even as delusional as the SEC themselves of saying that. One thing that was also interesting was the manipulation on a higher front. Now, I might discuss this tomorrow a little bit more, depending on how things go and how much new information comes out. But really, Jay Clayton, the guy who sued Ripple and who started this all, should we be thankful or should we despise him? Despise because he made a wrong allegation, because he turned out to be, wrong, or praise him because he made sure that XP got the clarity. It's double-sided. Because what's interesting to me is, did he know that the SEC was going to lose? Because just a couple weeks beforehand, if you guys remember that, he started to really backpedal, saying the SEC is doing it wrong. The SEC shouldn't bring up so many cases, and the SEC shouldn't be the one to just go for regulation by enforcement. Yet he's the one that basically started it all. Is that because he knew what was coming? Is that because of manipulation wave? Is that because they're trying to turn against Gary Gensler? Because right now what I'm also seeing is many, many more of these regulators and representatives are turning against Gary Gensler. So perhaps this manipulation wave is hitting a little bit of a dead end, or maybe it's all part of the major manipulation wave as well, that they're looking as if they're turning against Gary, but it's all part of the plan. That just depends on how far you want to take it. I take it on a base level of this guy just tried to save his own ass, but I wonder where these guys are to congratulate Ripple now for being wrong. Again, what I mean with that is, let's say you as the SEC are suing a company, but you turn out to be wrong. You did them dirty, all right? You could have alleged this, that, but at the end of the day, the court decided that you're wrong. So you should be there on the freaking doorstep, begging to their motherfucking feet by saying, hey, sorry for ruining thousands, millions of people potentially money, your business for a couple years, and sorry for wrecking, everything you had basically on our allegation. I'm sorry about that. I think that's the least that they deserve. So again, for Gary to say, I'm so disappointed, I think it's kind of disrespectful for the court system, because how can you be disappointed? That's the law, right? That's the one you should be harboring. And you should actually be really happy, in my opinion, that XRP holders and crypto holders in general were not hurt more because of your stupid decisions. But hey, that's just me. Isn't it still funny that that Clayton sued and then left the next day? I mean, I keep thinking about this. How come this is all so coincidental? And I keep thinking about it in the Ethereum sense as well. How is all that so coincidental? What I'm referring to is the fact that Ethereum had so many prongs here that right now, if we're following the law, are just purely securities, right? Just investment contracts. But how come they never went after it? And I keep thinking about it. I mean, they're doing investigations to the SEC, but why is it so slow? How could that realistically speaking be? It's all so obvious. It's been pointed out everywhere. It's getting hundreds of thousands of views sometimes. How can people ignore this? Anyway, even on the mainstream media side of things, like guys like Charles Gasparino, I really wonder why they're so sad about XRP and why they're so spiteful and what his thoughts are or why he's doing all this. He's trying to discredit the judge as well. And perhaps this is his strategy for gaining notoriety, of just being known as a bad guy or something. I'm not so sure exactly what his thoughts are. But he's going pretty rampant, all right. Just for a second, again, a little reminder. I want to do this more often. I'll give you guys a reminder. It's just been about a week since the lawsuit concluded. Guys, we're just at the start of this all. You're still extremely early. It's going to be a bumpier road than we've seen just now. This is like nothing in comparison to what we're going to face. But just know, at the end of the day, you're holding something that a lot of people wish they held earlier. Again, it's actually pretpretty funny, but as of this point, nobody can even theorize of XRP, for example, really flipping Bitcoin yet. Then when we look at the volume, XRP actually had more volume than Bitcoin. Can you guys realize just how huge that is and what this says for the future? XRP being a properly regulated asset is going to put so much confusion into the markets, doing so already, because it's stuff we've never seen before. It's really hard to imagine. And again, I think this whole tenure of the SEC will inevitably end in a bad way for them. They keep doing things wrong, not following the law. I don't know why. Stewart says it's outrageous that in today's Senate hearing, Gensler again misstates the law and the Howey test, suggesting that tokens standing alone are investment contracts. Is the SEC really going to continue to be allowed to peddle these falsehoods? Just like a lot of people over on Twitter are just claiming falsehoods time and time again, or just rehashing old news. And again, I'm not a big negative Nancy on this type of stuff. For example, American Express leveraging Ripple for new instant payment services using XRP. The reason I'm not against this is because these are actual articles with truth in them, but they're just old. This is just a couple years old. But then to say breaking, that's again either a disregard for the actual headline, which I can't believe, or just it's either ignorance or just bad intentions. And I personally think this is bad intentions. If you're doing it this often, I don't think that's a nice thing. But I'm guessing it's because of the amount of views that it's getting. And I know I'm singling out one guy. It's not exactly what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of people doing this. This is just the most in front of me example that I saw. And at the end of the day, some people and some thoughts I cannot blame them for. For example, this. After all we know, I expect to see 5 to 6 digits in the near future for XRP. Can I get angry at that? No, because she can honestly think it's going to go to, whatever, $10,000 or whatever price she puts on it, or $4,000 or whatever. But then it comes to this. U.S. presidential candidate says XRP will take the top spot from Bitcoin when it trades at $11. I mean, I guess he is a presidential candidate. But yeah. I mean, maybe you guys think this is also the truth. Actually, it's a fun question for y'all in the comment section down below. Do you think that pretty soon XRP is going to overtake Bitcoin? Do you think it's going to take a long time? Do you think it's going to happen at all? Do you think it's never going to happen? Do you think XRP or Bitcoin is going to be the next global reserve currency? Yeah, you know what? Before I shoot myself in the leg by talking bad about a lot of people, let me just say one thing. I'm doing all this out of love for the XRP community. You guys know I've been here for so many years, and one of the most fun parts I've had here throughout my 10 years in the crypto space, but specifically I think 7 or so years, 6.5, 7 years, talking about XRP over on YouTube. Is the connection I have with you guys. And obviously that this bonding and you guys being in the comment section or over on Discord and all that type of stuff, it gets you somewhere. You know, you're able to verify the news better. You're able to make more better informed decisions about investments. Even though I'm not a financial advisor, I still think being able to kind of crowdsource, you know, you mean like you take a little bit of information and you kind of see, is everybody posting the same thing? Then somebody already knows it's fake because he's done some research, and so you can easier get to the bottom of things. If you want to do some research, like, hey, what is the correlation between these things? You can kind of like figure it out with the community. That type of stuff I love. So when people are out there hurting the community by spreading fake news or just getting people IQ lowered by 50 points by talking about things that are just either nearly impossible or just stupid, I just don't approve of that. I don't like it. Again, I'm not saying that because people are putting up price predictions that don't make sense to me or theories that are very far-fetched, because at the end of the day, there is maybe some truth to that. I'm talking more about just either lying to the people, making something seem like something that there isn't, and you guys hopefully get my deal. Again, not trying to be a deal breaker here, not trying to hurt anybody specifically with these comments. And if you feel hurt by this, if you are a person who shares this type of stuff, all I'm saying is do better, you know? All your sins are forgiven. Don't worry about it if you've done something in the past or you shared something wrong. It can happen to anybody. It's not a big thing, but at least try to pay close attention like I'm also doing. Again, I'm a human, might make some mistakes, but all I'm saying is at least try to share the good news. You know what I mean?